Hi, my beautiful people. Oh, wow, this is take two for me again. Nora Finch here with another solo. And this is really getting interesting. So, I know that a lot of my people are not first responders that have been listening to my shows lately, which is cool, right? Because I can appeal, I know, to different types of people uh, that are interested specifically in mindset training. I feel like for those people more so like earlier in life, since I have so much information. So definitely first responders are not immune to the everyday challenges in life. So this is exciting today to actually bring to you an example though of a first responder situation scenario involving one. So, being influenced by outside noise, that's what I am titling this. And a lot of us have these issues, right? Being influenced, listening to other people. I know that I have in my life, even if it's just me gathering information to make my own decision. Okay, so I understand. But how much are we letting people influence us, right? How much involvement in terms of how we lead our lives and how we live our lives. So, what I'm going to talk about today, the inspiration for this show is I was talking to my acquaintance who basically has become my friend, and she said that it's fine to mention her name, Melyssa, who is a very excellent, I would, I guess, label her as she's a spiritual medium, but she's a conversationalist medium, which basically means yes, she can talk to people who have passed on, but she can actually put herself in the event of whatever situation she is looking into. And she's been actually asked to do some very heavy work. I don't know specifically when she actually started doing this exactly. She's told me about she's worked with a lot of high profile cases in the media, murders, gang related violence, sorts of things, and it's very heavy stuff. So I just want to give a shout out to her because she does such huge, like amazing work that's very taxing and draining. And we were having a very lengthy conversation about that because I have been worried about her over several years since we're generally talking about me. And so, yeah, she does that quite frequently and used to be a stylist, and she owns some animal sanctuaries. And that's such another beautiful thing. Okay, so we were basically talking about I reached out to her. She's helped me with some issues with my mom, but also just some different things that have been happening with me. And there is something that happened just the other day when were on a walk with a neighbor's dog. I hope you don't hear the scratching in my ear. I think it's my earring. Okay, I'm going to take it out. So basically, I'm going to take this out. Okay, we were having a discussion and she ended up talking about we've talked about my work working with wanting serve first responders, and she was telling me about a magical love story she had in her early 20s because we were talking about not having closure with certain things, friendships, relationships. And she dated a firefighter paramedic in her early 20s who basically abruptly ended their beautiful love story after 3 months. She thought they had a really great thing, and he abruptly ended it. I guess, in a way, yes, maybe say ghosted, but basically said we can kind of still, I guess, see each other on Facebook, but like we can't have anything. But I don't know that they kept in touch or communicated at all. Oh, okay. So come to find out, so she was, left. I'm sure she was like pretty, if you want to say traumatized or whatever. I don't know for how long. It was only about 3 months, but he left some sort of impression on her that she'll never forget. So speeding it up, 20 years later, he basically reached out to her because he ended up writing a book. I think it's mostly on his career being a firefighter, but he also put her in it. So he wanted to get approval her to sign off on it. And basically, he tells the story, I guess, of what happened. So I'm going to have to definitely read the book or something. So basically, what ended up happening is that he said that the reason that he had to cut it off is because basically his mom was talking a lot of shit about her, talking bad things about it, that it wasn't going to last, that she was no good for him, all of this sort of stuff, right? And obviously, he was influenced. That's why I'm calling this outside noise. It affected his ability to trust himself. Okay. And now he's had to live basically his entire life looking at her Facebook pictures and everything else with her family. They both remarried. And so come down to find, right, fast forward, like I said, his mom actually either, I think she said she ended up in a mental institution or facility or something else, something like that. So how about that? So I don't know anything about his, if this was, how this, want to say, like, traumatized him, or if he had regret, guilt, different feelings, obviously, for him to come back and tell her and to put her in his book. Okay. So this gives the perfect example and time. So I resonate with this story on different levels that I'm not going to get into. But this has to do, right, with the no closure and a lots of other things as a result of not communicating. Okay, because he probably, let's just say he could speak up, but he didn't want to tell her something like that. Um, I don't know. I have not talked to him, and I may not talk to him, so I will not know the story. But I hopefully the book will show something. So this is the perfect opportunity to basically talk about what I'm going to do. Is in part one, I am doing this. I'm going to ask you some questions, and I'm also going to ask in part two. I'm going to really dive deep for those of you either this resonates with, or on this level and perspective, or any other, closure, not having closure in other relationships. You really, I'm trying to position these questions to basically you can answer all things for yourself. And you may not believe me still at this time when it comes to journaling, what really can come out in your subconscious. And I can't really stress it more other than telling you to get out your damn piece of paper. Even now in this episode, if you're listening to it scanning, kind of in the car or something like that, please just go back and really take this seriously if this is something of an area, that you actually want to work on. Like, you want solutions for these issues that, if you want to say, make you suffer or torment or leave these negative emotions inside of you, that you have to deal with and be haunted with. Okay, because I'm here to tell you this is what's called healing. There are ways to heal. And before, back when I was younger, I don't know that there was something to heal. Like, I don't think I knew what that meant, and so now I can describe what can happen as a result. I will explain to you later. Okay. So this is basically, I would like to also invite you to look into psychosomatic healing, right? Look into the oldest recorded healing systems like Ayurvedic and Chinese medicine, and they will talk about and explain what Western medicine cannot, okay? That emotions become stuck in the cells as well as the organs, and they will stay there. You'll start to learn about chakras and different things like that. And like I said, I'm not making this up. My background is in studying natural healing and all these sorts of things. And so thoughts and emotions create a vibration. Okay. So that's another thing, but it's all connected. Okay. So this is the holistic model that is, again, parts of, like, all these things are like my specialties in understanding that mind, body, spirit connection. Okay. And again, I'm sure you've been in many situations where either you've thought something and it happened, or just even, for example, having guilt from anything that you do. I don't know. There's some examples. My daughter gave me one of if you accidentally hit somebody's car, you open the car door, you're parked next to them, you accidentally hit it. She was saying, well, you should just make a note, like a kid's signature, and like just like put an explanation on there, like you know, you did it by accident, you didn't know what you were doing. And I thought that was a funny idea, but which, you know, maybe could work, right? Depending, I think it depends on the severity of your what you did. But the guilt that somebody could feel like, and that basically like they lied, I mean, that is something, right? That lying about writing the note is going to haunt you. You're going to send out a vibration and something's going to happen. I'm going to tell you, like something. Okay, but I'm not going to talk about it in this episode. I just want you to focus on that the healing process, the what happens when these emotions stay stuck, and you can go and confirm it. Okay, so all that I can say is maybe I'm going to use illness and disease and these different sorts of health problems that are not a lot of people can understand till you go through it. Because after you go, let's say, to a practitioner who helps you release these things, and then the emotion or the thought or whatever it is, right? It's the thought goes away, you will understand. Okay. So I will talk about the different things in the next episode aside from journaling. And that's what I'm about. Alternative methods outside of the box. Okay. Outside of talk. So I'm going to say it again, probably in the second one, because you know I repeat myself, that talking doesn't always work. Some people don't know how to talk. Some people don't have the words. I know this sounds weird, but it's very true. Some people, it's actually painful for them to express because it brings up these painful memories. Okay. So I don't know the situation with this person. So I am just going to go into these questions that I hope will help prevent something like this, right? We can do all that we want to do to prevent something, and we still have to learn in our own way, which means going through the process. I get that, okay? You could be Nora, I did all this shit, I whatever, and I still fucked up. Like, I don't even like to say like calling it a mistake, because there were things you had to go through and learn. Okay, it might be painful, it might be whatever it is, like, why the fuck did I do that? Okay, but that is just the way you personally have to learn. Okay, so just be patient with yourself. And I have gone through stuff too, okay, so I can relate. So get out your piece of paper if you already haven't. I'm going to ask these slowly. Help you pause. Not help you pause. I will try to remember to pause as I go. Okay, so get out the piece of paper if you want to be serious about this. And I want you to ask yourself, when you are talking to these people. Okay, now I've just realized that my other piece of paper that I wrote down these questions, I am just going to have to start with what I can remember. Okay, so basically it started with looking at, and number one, when you be cautious and discerning of who you're talking about about your romantic relationships, okay? There is a cultural thing that already from the get-go that people start jabbing, they hear you making comments, okay? Maybe this guy that was talking about love story stuff, but anytime that you are talking about your relationships, if in a way it sounds like you're talking bad, people like to jump on the whole, you should leave them, what are you doing, blah, blah, blah. All sorts of things that I think are negative, including like even comments like, this is again pop culture when I say people. Maybe you didn't think about this. Even the whole, oh, if he's not banging you, he's banging somebody else, and vice versa. Okay. It's always very negative. I feel like it's never really supportive. Okay. And that has just been my experience. And again, I am looking at the general public, how they talk. It's like the same thing. I've given this example before, to people talking shit about first responders as a culture, right? The firefighters are playboys and the cops beat their wives, okay? I'm sorry, that's what it is. I don't like to hear that. It makes me feel really sad, and the public talks like this, okay? So I had to put that in there, people, okay? So this is pop culture talk where the mainstream likes to basically repeat what they believe everybody else is thinking, doing, behaving, okay? I've heard this too. Oh, firefighters. Well, the divorce rates and everything. Well, look how fucked up they are. Like, the public is rude. So this is based on influence of media, different things. Very passionate about my disgust for this because I think that I know, not, I think it needs to change. It does need to change. Okay. So we are not supportive of each other, the gossiping, the everything. Okay. I want to help stop this and be more supportive of each other. So look at, bottom line, what I'm saying is look at who you're talking to. Okay. Look at their lives, right? I'm going to say this here. I'm going to say it again. Are you living your life for yourself or for others? Okay. Look at how, like, did this guy, I don't know how old he was, right? If he's in his 20s, like, did he look up to his mom? Like, did he need her acceptance and approval? How much did he care about that? Why was that so important to her? She is a mother figure. That's probably all that it was, right? And which leads me to another story of a friend I grew up in high school with. I can't even believe I was going to forget this. He actually, I think it had been an accidental death, but basically he had told me in the few conversations that we had had that he ended up marrying. I don't know if he married her or was with her, but basically it's because of his mom and his sister, the pressure that he felt from that, and he was very depressed, and I think it was accidental, but it was through alcohol. Okay. And he did not want to be living that life. Okay. So anyway, sad to know about that. And I had a crush on him in high school. That's so funny. He's like, why didn't you say something? He was pretending to be a Nazi. True story. And he wasn't even. He was just trying to do it for shock value. Excuse me. So these people that you are talking to, how do they view love? Do you feel like they have your best interests at heart? If they did, wouldn't they want you to be happy? Right? Right? Sounds so stupid, right? And simple. So I want you to write down, really think about this, really, like, it could be a yes or no answer, but has anybody ever asked you that? Whose life are you living? Now, I'm not just going to say here, do you want to be happy or not? Happiness is up and down, right? But the life you choose and the person that you want to spend any bit of life with, right? This could have even just been a platonic friend. I feel like a lot of times when you start to talk about love, there's so many people that are bitter about it and are jealous. They may not even hear themselves talking, that they are talking in a negative way. So I really want you to just sit with this. Okay. Who are you talking to about these, your love interests, your relationships or whatever. Okay. So that's a pretty much good start there. And that's already heavy in itself. Okay, people. So maybe if anything, you could just journal more on, this whole why you are why you care so much about this person's opinion or these people's approval, because it might be more than one person. Okay, so this could also be tied into basically people pleasing, and you can listen to my other episode on that. Okay, so authority figures and worrying about what anybody else says. Who gives a fuck, right? Okay, so in the next episode, I am going to basically be talking about here. Maybe I can, before we get into that, because I am going to close this. This is already almost 20 minutes, people. Okay, you probably thought I dropped off there. I'm going to go ahead and end what I'm going to be talking about in the next episode. Part 2 of dealing with this is that we are going to talk about healing and what I would recommend in this particular situation. Okay, it's going to be outside the box, it's going to be journaling. I'm going to mention some other things, acupressure, and just different ways, different things that I've done. Okay, and maybe it's going to help you out. So I hope you feel this is valuable. I like I said, hopefully I can help provide some information to prevent something like this happening again. Can you imagine if they had just communicated, like if there was just an honest communication, like how this would have helped, But like we said too, maybe he wasn't able to. I don't know the story. I would love to ask him. Okay, so I will meet you in the next episode. Okay, people? So talk to you next time.